I walked into a kitchen store the other day and I swear, I thought I accidentally stepped into NASA. I'm not even kidding. There were so many gadgets, blinking, spinning, air frying, pressure cooking, steaming, slicing, dicing. I stood there holding my purse like, "Ma'am, what exactly are we preparing? Dinner or a space launch?" Honestly, you know how back in my day we had a stove, an oven, and if you were fancy, a hand mixer? That was it. If something needed chopping, you grabbed a knife and you chopped it. End of story. No Bluetooth required. But baby, today, there's a gadget for everything. I saw a machine that only slices avocados. Now listen, I love a good avocado. But when did we decide avocados needed their own assistant? I stood there thinking, did avocados file a complaint about being cut the old-fashioned way? Not gonna lie, I almost applauded it. Then I found a garlic peeler. A garlic peeler. Back in my day, I just smacked that garlic with the side of a knife and called it character building. Now there's a little silicone tube you roll it in like it's at a spa. I gotta say, it's kinda cute. But also, garlic, you're not royalty. And don't even get me started on the air fryer section. That wall looked like a family reunion of robots. Small ones, big ones, ones with windows, ones with 2 drawers like they're competing with each other. I stood there staring like, which one of y'all is actually cooking and which one is just here for decoration? I remember when frying meant oil in a pan and you prayed it didn't pop on you. Now these things are like, no oil, no smoke, just vibes. And honestly, I respect it. Then I saw something called a smart toaster. Smart toaster. So now my bread is smarter than I am? This toaster had buttons for bagels, gluten-free, frozen, artisanal. Artisanal. Back in my day, bread was bread. You toasted it until it looked right, and if it burned a little, that just meant you were paying attention to something else. Life lesson. But here's the thing. I wasn't even mad. I was amused. I felt like a kid in a toy store. Every aisle I turned, I found something new. There's a machine that makes just boiled eggs. Not scrambled, not fried, just boiled. I looked at it and said, "Sweetheart, I've been boiling eggs longer than you've been plugged in." There's a pancake pen so you can draw shapes, a vegetable spiralizer that turns zucchini into noodles, a milk frother that makes your coffee look like it went to college. Back in my day, coffee was coffee. You drank it. It woke you up. End of romance. Now people are frothing, swirling, sprinkling cinnamon like they're auditioning for a cooking show. And honestly, I kinda love the drama. What really made me laugh was the label multifunctional. Everything is multifunctional now. There's a pressure cooker that slow cooks, sautés, steams, air fries, and probably gives life advice if you ask it nicely. I stood there thinking, well, excuse me, ma'am. I didn't know you had a resume. But you know what I realized standing in that store? It's not about replacing the old ways. It's just new tools for the same love. We still cook to feed people. We still bake to celebrate. We still gather around a table and pass plates and say, this is good. The gadgets just changed the costume. And not gonna lie, some of them are kinda helpful. My hands aren't 25 anymore. If a little chopper saves me from cutting onions for 20 minutes, go ahead, little gadget. Earn your keep. But I'll tell you what I'm not buying. That automatic pan stirrer. Yes, it exists. You clip it onto the pot and it stirs for you. I looked at it and said, now hold on. Stirring is where I taste the sauce. That's where I add love. That's where I decide if it needs more salt or just more patience. You can take my whisk when you pry it from my flour-covered hands. I think the funniest part was watching younger folks shop. They're so confident. They know exactly what an immersion blender is. I heard someone say, "Oh yeah, this one has better wattage." Wattage, back in my day, if it turned on, that was enough wattage. But I'm learning. I really am. I bought a little milk frother. Just a small one. Don't look at me like that. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. First time I used it, the milk went everywhere. I had foam on the counter, foam on my sweater, foam probably on the ceiling. I stood there laughing so hard I almost dropped my mug, but when I finally got it right. Oh, honey, that coffee looked fancy. I sat at my kitchen table like I owned a cafe. I even sprinkled a little cinnamon on top. Not gonna lie, I felt adorable. That's what I love about this stage of life. I don't have to be perfect at it, I just get to try it. Back in my day, we didn't have this many gadgets, but we also didn't have this many chances to experiment just for fun. Now I can try a spiralizer, laugh at it, and still go back to my good old knife if I want to. No pressure. And that's the beauty of it. The world changes. Kitchens get fancier. Toasters get smarter. But I'm still me, still cooking, still learning, still curious. And honestly, curiosity keeps you young. If you're watching this and you feel overwhelmed by all the new stuff out there, let me tell you something. You don't have to master it all. Just pick one thing that makes you smile and play with it. Let the rest sit on the shelf. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many gadgets you own, it's about the joy you bring into your kitchen. And I gotta say, even if I don't understand half of what those machines do, I love that we live in a time where creativity is bubbling right there next to the spatulas. Now excuse me while I go Google what an egg bite maker is, because apparently regular eggs aren't exciting enough anymore. All right, my sweethearts, if this made you smile even a little bit, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep laughing, learning, and figuring out these fancy gadgets together.